Forget the flashy stripes and chrome, this wasn't about looks. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 427 hit an all-aluminum big block that pushed well past 500 horsepower, turning an ordinary pony car into a factory-built predator. Against it, the Mustang wasn't just slower, it looked hopelessly outclassed. Top 1 1966 Shelby Cobra 427 SC. It wasn't built to be pretty, it wasn't built to be comfortable. The 1966 Shelby Cobra 427 SC was built with one purpose: to embarrass anything else that dared to pull alongside. When Carroll Shelby crammed Ford's biggest, baddest V8 into his tiny Anglo-American roadster, the Mustang suddenly looked like a child's toy. The Cobra's story was already legendary, but the 427 SC, short for semi-competition, took the formula to extremes. Ford's fearsome 427 cubic inch side-oiler big block sat under a wide, vented hood. Officially rated at 425 horsepower, real output was closer to 485, with torque that twisted the lightweight chassis into submission. 0 to 60, under 4 seconds. Quarter-mile times in the mid-12s, some quicker with tuning. Production was minuscule, just 31 SC models were completed, making it rarer than nearly anything Ford's pony car division ever dreamed of. Externally, the Cobra SC wore fat fender flares, Halabrand knockoff wheels, side exhaust pipes, and a big oval grille that gulped air like a jet intake. The interior was as raw as the car itself. Thin bucket seats, a wood-rimmed steering wheel, Smith's gauges, and little else. No sound insulation, no luxury trim, just a cockpit designed for speed. Even the windshield could be swapped for a race-style wind deflector. Here's the shock. These cars weren't even fully intended for the street. The SC was born when unsold full-competition Cobras were softened just enough to be road legal. What buyers got was essentially a detuned race car, with license plates as thin camouflage for the beast underneath. Against the Mustang, the Cobra 427 SC was humiliating. Ford's top pony cars struggled to break 7 seconds to 60. The Cobra demolished that mark by 3 full seconds. It wasn't just faster, it was untouchable. Today, with only 31 originals, they're million-dollar icons, revered as the ultimate expression of Shelby's no-compromise philosophy. But Shelby wasn't the only one bending rules to make the Mustang irrelevant. Chevrolet had its own trick up its sleeve, an aluminum block Camaro that would rewrite what a pony car could be. Top 2, 1969. Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 427. In 1969, Chevrolet quietly unleashed a Camaro so extreme it was never meant for the average driver. This was the ZL1 427, a car born from loopholes and racing ambition. Against it, the Mustang looked tame, heavy, and ordinary. This was not just a pony car, it was a predator. The ZL1 existed thanks to the Central Office Production Order System, or COPO. Through COPO 9560, Chevrolet installed an all-aluminum 427 cubic inch V8 into just 69 Camaros. Officially rated at 430 horsepower, real dyno numbers hovered well above 500. The engine alone cost more than some entire Mustangs. Weight savings were dramatic, about 100 pounds lighter than an iron block big block, giving the ZL1 a brutal power-to-weight ratio. Externally, the ZL1 looked modest, wearing the same lines as a regular Camaro SS. No flashy stripes, no outrageous badges. Inside, it was standard Camaro equipment: bucket seats, console, full carpeting. The secret weapon was all under the hood. Backed by either a Muncie close-ratio 4-speed or heavy-duty turbo-hydromatic, the ZL1 could rocket to 60 in about 5 seconds flat. Quarter miles dipped into the low 13S stock, and with slicks and tuning, 11-second passes were routine. What made the ZL1 remarkable wasn't just its speed, it was the fact that Chevrolet built it at all. Corporate policy banned engines over 400 cubic inches in the Camaro, but savvy dealers like Fred Gibb and Don Yankee worked around the rules, ordering the ZL1 through COPO and handing racers a factory-sanctioned monster. Against Mustangs of the same era, even the Boss 429, the ZL1 was faster, rarer, and meaner. While Ford's Halo car struggled in the 14-second bracket, the ZL1 demolished the quarter mile. Only 69 were built, making them among the rarest and most valuable Camaros ever. But Chevrolet wasn't the only brand turning compact bodies into race-bred killers. Plymouth had its own lightweight creation, dipped in acid, stuffed with a HEMI, and aimed straight at humiliating Ford's pony car. Top 3, 1968, Plymouth Barracuda BO29 HEMI. The Barracuda began as Plymouth's answer to the Mustang, a stylish fastback aimed at the youth market. But in 1968, something terrifying emerged. The BO29 HEMI Barracuda wasn't built to cruise the boulevard. It was a stripped, acid-dipped predator designed solely to annihilate the quarter-mile. Plymouth built about 70 BO29 cars, each one a bare-bones super stock weapon. They rolled off the line in primer gray, unfinished and unapologetic. The hood, fenders, and bumpers were fiberglass. Doors and panels were lightened wherever possible. Inside, luxury vanished, only lightweight bucket seats, a tachometer, and bare metal remained. Even the glass was thin to save weight. Under that giant scoop sat Chrysler's 426 HEMI, officially rated at 425 horsepower but delivering closer to 500 when tuned. Buyers could choose either a heavy-duty 4-speed or the 727 TorqueFlite automatic. The result was a car weighing barely over 3,000 pounds, with the heart of a monster. The shock came when buyers realized Plymouth wasn't selling a street car at all. These were factory-built drag racers, delivered to sanctioned teams. No warranty, no creature comforts, not even proper paint. The BO29 was less a car than a legal loophole, a purpose-built race machine disguised as a compact fastback. On the strip, the BO29 ran low 11 second quarter miles, sometimes touching the 10S with slicks. Against Ford's Mustangs, even the boss models, there was no contest. The lightweight body and brutal HEMI power simply crushed them. With only 70-some produced, surviving BO29 Barracudas are museum-grade rarities today, commanding six-figure prices and respect from every corner of the muscle car world. But Dodge wasn't about to let Plymouth have all the glory. Using the same philosophy of lightness and HEMI fury, they unleashed a dart so wild that even seasoned drag racers were left shaking their heads. Top 4 1968 Dodge Dart LO23 HEMI. The Dodge Dart was never supposed to scare anyone. It was marketed as an economy car, a modest compact for buyers who wanted cheap transportation. But in 1968, Dodge took this mild commuter and transformed it into one of the most savage drag racers Detroit had ever unleashed. The Low 23 HEMI Dart. Against this monster, the Mustang looked like a lightweight sideshow. Just 80 Low 23 superstock darts were produced, each carefully engineered to be as light and lethal as possible. Dodge stripped them bare, no rear seats, no heater, no radio, not even carpet. Thin side glass replaced the standard windows. Fiberglass front fenders and hood were bolted on, complete with a massive scoop feeding cold air into Chrysler's most feared engine, the 426 Race HEMI. Officially rated at 425 horsepower, in truth these engines pushed past 500 when tuned correctly. Buyers could choose either a heavy-duty 4-speed manual with a Hurst shifter or the indestructible 727 TorqueFlite automatic. Weighing just over 3,000 pounds, the LO23 had a power-to-weight ratio that made it almost unbeatable. Externally, the Dart looked sinister. The wide stance, scoop, and strip trim made it obvious this wasn't a normal grocery runner. Inside, the cabin was raw, 2 thin vinyl bucket seats, a tachometer, and bare metal floors. Comfort was irrelevant. Speed was everything. What shocked the public was Dodge's honesty. These weren't marketed as street cars. They were shipped in primer or plain paint, with no warranty whatsoever. Dodge handed racers a factory-built drag weapon and dared them to dominate. And dominate they did. Quarter-mile times in the low 11S came right off the trailer. With slicks and tuning, many LO23s dipped into the 10S numbers Mustangs of the era couldn't dream of. Out of 80 built, survivors are now priceless, Mopar relics, commanding six-figure sums and legendary respect. But while Dodge was perfecting raw drag strip brutality, another muscle car was being reshaped for NASCAR's high banks, trading stripped interiors for aerodynamics and rewriting what speed meant at 200 miles per hour. Top 5 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona HEMI. By 1969, Dodge had a problem. The Charger was gorgeous on the street, but on NASCAR's high-speed ovals it was getting embarrassed. Aerodynamic drag turned it into dead weight. The solution was unlike anything Detroit had dared before: the Charger Daytona, a car so outrageous it looked more like a spaceship than a muscle car. Against this weapon, the Mustang seemed like child's play. To satisfy NASCAR's homologation rules, Dodge built just 503 Daytonas. Each one began life as a Charger RT, but the body was radically altered. A pointed fiberglass nose cone stretched nearly 2 feet forward, smoothing airflow at 200 mph. Out back, a towering 23-inch aluminum wing dominated the trunk, stabilizing the car at speeds no Mustang would ever see. Flush-mount rear glass replaced the tunneled back window, and small spoilers around the wheel arches cleaned up turbulent air. These weren't styling gimmicks, they were functional race solutions. Under the hood, buyers could choose the 440 Magnum V8 or the legendary 426 HEMI. The HEMI version produced a factory rating of 425 horsepower, backed by a rugged 4-speed manual or the bulletproof TorqueFlite automatic. Despite the extreme exterior, the interior retained Charger comforts: bucket seats, console shifters, wood grain trim, and even optional air conditioning. It was equal parts NASCAR weapon and boulevard cruiser. The Daytona wasn't conceived for everyday roads, it was designed to dominate super speedways. Dodge created a car that could legally be registered, yet in truth was a stock car in disguise. Buyers weren't just getting a muscle car, they were buying the first production car engineered to crack 200 mph. On the track, the Daytona made history, becoming the first NASCAR machine to exceed 200 miles per hour. On the street, it ran the quarter mile in the 13-second range, still formidable for its size. Today, survivors of the 503 built are 7-figure collectibles, revered as the ultimate symbol of the Aero Wars. But while Dodge pursued victory with wings and wind tunnels, Chevrolet quietly armed an unassuming full-size sedan with a 427 big block, creating a sleeper so vicious it could leave Mustangs humiliated at stoplights. Top 6, 1969. Chevrolet Biscayne L72 427. The Chevrolet Biscayne was supposed to be cheap transportation, a no-frills full-size car for budget-conscious buyers. But in 1969, Chevy turned this plain sedan into a wolf in sheep's clothing. When equipped with the L72 427, the Biscayne became one of the most feared sleepers of the decade, leaving Mustangs utterly humiliated. The L72 package was Chevrolet's way of sneaking brutal power into an otherwise ordinary body. The 427 cubic inch big block was officially rated at 425 horsepower, but real output was often closer to 450. Buyers could equip the Biscayne with a 4-speed Muncie manual or the durable turbo-hydromatic automatic, paired with heavy-duty suspension, posi-traction rear, and beefed-up cooling. Externally, nothing gave it away. The Biscayne wore plain trim, dog dish hubcaps, and almost no chrome. It looked like a taxi or a retired cop car. Inside, it was equally Spartan: vinyl bench seats, rubber mats, and basic gauges. No luxury, no flash, just raw muscle hidden beneath a humble shell. The brilliance of the Biscayne L72 was its invisibility. While Mustangs strutted with stripes and spoilers, the Biscayne appeared docile. Yet under the hood it carried one of Chevy's fiercest engines, a motor that also powered Corvettes and Chevelles. Onlookers never suspected the plain sedan could blow past them on the quarter mile. Production numbers are fuzzy, but historians estimate around 1,200 Biscaynes received the L72. On the Strip, they were devastating quarter miles in the low 13s, with tuned examples dipping into the 12s. For Mustang owners, it was an embarrassing reminder that looks didn't always tell the story. Today, surviving Biscayne L72s are highly prized by collectors, celebrated as one of the greatest sleeper muscle cars ever built. But if Chevrolet's stealth sedan embarrassed Ford on the street, Pontiac attacked with bold colors and brute force. Their creation was the Judge, armed with Ram Air 4 power and a presence that made every Mustang tremble. Top 7, 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge Ram Air 4. By 1969, the Mustang had become a cultural icon, but Pontiac wasn't impressed. Their answer was loud, brash, and unapologetic: the GTO Judge. And when equipped with the rare Ram Air 4 package, this Judge wasn't just show. It was a courtroom executioner that made Mustangs look weak and ordinary. The Judge debuted as a budget-friendly, strip GTO, but Pontiac quickly loaded it with firepower. The Ram Air 4 was the top engine option, a 400 cubic inch V8 with revised heads, high-flow exhaust manifolds, and a hotter camshaft. Officially rated at 370 horsepower, real output often crept past 400. Backed by a close ratio 4-speed or a turbo hydromatic plus heavy-duty suspension, it delivered performance far beyond what its flashy image suggested. Externally, the Judge was unmistakable. Bright carousel red paint, bold graphics, Rally 2 wheels, and a rear deck spoiler announced its arrival long before the exhaust note did. Inside, it retained GTO Comfort vinyl bucket seats, wood grain dash, and full instrumentation, making it both a muscle car and a daily driver. The twist was that the Judge wasn't a cheap gimmick. With the Ram Air 4, it became one of the fastest and rarest GTOs ever built. Out of more than 6,800 Judges produced in 1969, only a few hundred received the Ram Air 4, making them ultra-desirable collector pieces today. The Mustang Boss 429 might have looked tough, but the Judge combined brute force with Pontiac flair in a way Ford never matched. On the drag strip, the Judge Ram Air 4 ran quarter miles in the low 14S stock, with tuned versions easily reaching the 13S. Its rarity and performance turned it into an instant legend. Today, surviving Ram Air 4 Judges command six-figure prices and remain symbols of Pontiac's golden era. Yet not every Mustang Challenger wore stripes and spoilers. Buick took a subtler route, arming its Skylark GS with torque-rich power that could surprise even the boldest pony car. Top 8 1966 Buick Skylark GS 401. Buick wasn't the first name you thought of in the muscle car wars. Known more for comfort than raw speed, Buick surprised everyone in 1966 with the Skylark GS 401. This wasn't flashy rebellion, it was quiet brutality. Against Mustangs, the Skylark GS was a torque monster that made Ford's pony seem like a toy. The Skylark GS 401 came with Buick's legendary nailhead V8, displacing 401 cubic inches. Rated at 325 horsepower, the real story was torque 445 pound-feet, delivered low in the rev range. That mountain of twisting force launched the Skylark with urgency few Mustangs could match. Buyers could pick a 4-speed manual or the super turbine automatic, paired with posi traction and heavy-duty suspension. Production totaled around 13,800 units for 1966. Making it far more available than Chrysler's factory drag specials, but still uncommon today. On the outside, the Skylark GS looked restrained, clean lines, modest GS badging, and simple bright work. Many wore stylish rally wheels, but otherwise these cars didn't scream for attention. Inside, Buick's DNA was clear: wide bucket seats, full carpeting, padded dash, and upscale trim. It was a muscle car wrapped in refinement. The twist was that Buick's GS wasn't just about luxury, it was a genuine street fighter. Most pony car buyers underestimated it, assuming Buick meant soft rides and quiet cruising. Few expected a mid-size coupe that could unleash brutal acceleration while still coddling its driver in comfort. Performance proved the point. 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds, quarter miles in the mid-15S stock, with tuned examples easily dipping into the 14S. Against Ford's smaller block Mustangs, the Skylark GS simply overwhelmed them with torque. Collectors today value the GS 401 as a unique blend muscle car muscle combined with Buick dignity. The 1966 Skylark GS 401 closed Buick's case in the muscle car wars. It showed that even brands known for comfort could unleash real muscle when provoked. And it left a lasting reminder: power doesn't always shout, sometimes it growls, low and steady, making rivals like the Mustang feel hopelessly outmatched. From Shelby's fire-breathing Cobra to Dodge's drag strip assassins, from Buick's torque-rich sleeper to Pontiac's flamboyant Judge, the 1960s gave us muscle cars that made even the mighty Mustang seem weak. Each machine carried its own legend, some loud, some subtle, all unforgettable. Got the Factor X. Which one shocked you most with its power and presence? Share your pick in the comments. We'd love to hear your stories, and if you're as passionate about these forgotten beasts as we are, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay tuned with Muscle Cars Revolution.